What's going on, you cement butter haulers? Welcome to Grunt Speak, not so.
Live from the lair!
I'm Gleep Glop, and that's Floop-de-doo.
Winning!
And that's a butt right there, building a snowman, which is probably going to have a rather large carrot that's used to go right into that little area that you see right there.
Yes, I know. Like, here's a weird thing. When you look at these like women in their 20s with these juicy asses, they don't seem to realize that that's going to turn into half a cow by 40.
Yeah, the women with the really big, juicy
God.
asses, you got like maybe 5 years before that goes south in a hurry.
You're going to get the devil's braille, this cottage cheese effect. You're going to have the ripple walk. When they walk around, you just watch the fat ripple through. Which each impact of the foot you just see.
Yep.
Sir, that's just nasty.
We do have a story for you today from Cement Butter Hauler as he goes by on Cash App, and this is called Landlord Revenge Story. Are you the kind of person who's run out of feelings to hurt?
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
Wah.
Then we have the Redonkulas swag for you. And we have multiple locations where you can get it. Go to the Stream Elements store or Crypto Fashion and embrace your inner fat punisher. Because after all,
there's a little bad pop in all of us. Even your mother.
Shirts, stickers, mugs, and hats are on sale now. Your support helps keep us independent from big tech and keeps this life-saving train on the tracks. Links are in the Meat Gazer box. Back in 2015, I lived in Denver for 5 months. Oh, you poor, poor man.
Mm-hmm.
That is not any place that you really want to go and spend any significant period of time. Just ask Red Pill Rhino if you don't believe me.
Yeah, it's totally... they're out to lunch. It's totally liberalized.
And out to lunch, and they expect everybody else to pay for it. I had broken up with my psycho ex, and I had to get away from home in the Detroit area. Hey, if you ever come back home, come on the show.
Yeah.
You've donated, you're a big fan of the show. We love the stories that you send in. Come on in, you can be a guest. The story of how I wound up in Denver and the events leading up to it will be much longer, so I'll save it for another day. It was a crazy time in my life where I was seeing who my real friends and family were. I got a couple of crazy stories when I was in Denver. I was living in my car for most of those 5 months.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
I was going to say, nobody in here knows what that's like. I drove a 2004 Ford Focus.
Okay.
That works. Definitely not built for sleeping, I'll tell you that much.
No.
Had all the essential stuff needed in order to survive on my own. Fishing pole, pillows, frying pan, propane stove, you name it. I would sleep in Walmart parking lots. You ever wake up and find like a Wamalo pressing her ass cheeks against your window? Yeah. Have that happen to you once and then try to sleep again the next night.
I parked my car in a couple of Walmart parking lots to sleep.
Any place that's open 24 hours, usually they're not going to bug you.
Nope. Well, what I would do is I would go into Walmart and I would buy a couple small items.
Yeah, I'm a customer, pink.
And then if I get shook down from the cops, I just pull out the receipts dated for that day. And you're like,
there you go. I was also working to get back on my feet at the time as a concert stagehand, setting up and tearing down for concerts and other events in the Denver area, especially where the Nuggets, Avalanche, and Broncos play. One of my coworkers, who I hit it off with and became friends, offered me to live with him and a few other roommates, with his landlord paying $200 a month.
Seems good.
After living in your car for most of those 5 months, not bad if you can get it. His name is Dimitri. I said, sure, I just need a flat surface to sleep on. So my first meeting with this landlord, right off the bat, was weird. He saw me as a perfect stranger, got real hostile and uptight. Like, who are you, and why do you stay here? I don't know what country he's from. I just decided to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Dimitri and a couple other people had to calm him down, and I had to tell him I was the other friend Dimitri told you about that was going to maybe live here. He relaxed a little bit, but it was still a weird encounter. The landlord went by the name Woody.
You are a sad, strange little man.
I knew there was something off about him, but I still said, screw it, I need a place to stay. The next day, I was supposed to move in. Dimitri and I had to work, but were assigned to different gigs in different locations. His gig was further away from the landlord's house, and his car was broken down, so I let him use mine after he dropped me off at my gig. Fast forward to 1 a.m. with my shift done early. I got a ride from another coworker. My phone was also dead. Supposed to meet up with Dimitri after his gig at the house and move in. I also didn't want to wake up Woody, so I'm sitting on the porch at 1 a.m. with a lot of time on my hands looking for something to do.
That is not healthy.
No. A man with too much time on his hands usually equals too much time with his penis in his hands.
Or evil genius activities.
Yeah, sometimes you forget that prying eyes exist even at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hey! Oh, hi, Mrs. Krabappel. Watering the lawn, huh? Because that's not weird. I've seen people do that.
Oh, no. The lawn people, yeah, they do that all the time.
Get off my lawn.
I never want to be a lawn guy.
No.
Yeah, that's
They
just a
get
miserable
obsessive.
existence. Yeah, I know.
They get obsessive. You missed my driveway and flattened a quarter-inch patch. I'm afraid I'm going to have to charge you for that. You parked in the public street in front of my house and condensation from your AC dripped, but it looks like antifreeze, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to move the car. It's condensation, bro. No, I'm pretty sure it's antifreeze. It's condensation, bro.
That's right. That's right.
Not that this has happened to me or anything.
Nah, that's.
These are unnecessarily specific for no reason at all.
Well, I mean, that's the fastest way to check for a coolant leak.
Yeah, exactly.
Just taste it. If it's sweet, it's coolant.
Yep. Just like, the fastest way to test for diabetes is to drink urine.
Ugh.
What? I don't know these things.
Where did you hear that? That can't be true.
It is true.
No.
Yes, it is.
We'll talk about it after the show.
That's disgusting.
Popp doesn't know old-fashioned medical remedies. I've had to take him in for an ear nail.
Ear nail.
Now we're going back to the Old West.
Oh, my God.
I started looking for a place to lay down and get some rest before Dimitri got home. It got down to the low 50s that night, and all I was wearing was a T-shirt, shorts, and steel-toe boots. There was a nearby creek with a bench I tried to lay down on, and it was too uncomfortable. Then I want to cross the street to some neighbor's house. They had an old ice cream truck, and I tried sneaking underneath to lay down under that.
Damn.
Too many wood chips. So then I decided, you know what? I'm from Detroit. Got to use my Detroit instincts. So I went up to a random car. It was locked. Went to another car, and it was locked. Third car was open. I was like, oh, shit.
This is crime here. This is breaking and entering.
It's maybe 2 a.m. at this point. Crawl into the back seat of this black SUV using the owner of this car's hoodie as my blanket. I couldn't charge my phone because my charger was broken as well. I slept in that back seat of some random dude's car. Basically did a B and S, breaking and sleeping.
Yeah.
So 3 hours later, I woke up on my own, and about 15 seconds later, I hear a locking noise in the car, and the cabin light turns on.
Yep. You need to get the fuck out of there then.
You better run, bro. I'm like, oh, shit, and I scurried out of there. I ran down the street, cut into the alley to avoid being seen. Instead of going directly across the street through the side of the house into the backyard of my house with my friend waiting for me in his tent at 5 a.m. Yes, I said tent.
Tent. God, this is some shit here.
This is definitely the kind of like stupid shit men do under the age of 25 sort of thing.
This is one of those stories.
He would sleep outside by choice. Before you judge him, too late. He rode his bike from San Antonio, Texas to Denver, and it took him 31 days to get there. Mad respect for that.
He rode a pedal bike?
He rode his pedal bike.
Oh, fuck.
That's pretty awesome.
All right.
He was planning on going to Seattle, but settled in Denver because he ran over a pothole, fell over, and broke his wrist. Ugh. That's what happens when you think about setting up camp in a blue lemonade shithole.
If you're on something with 2 wheels, it's less stable than something with 4.
Yes, true story. He would sleep in that tent when he wasn't riding his bike. So Dimitri's waiting for me. He goes, dude, where were you? I've been trying to call you. I told him, sorry, my phone was dead. But... dude, you won't believe what just happened, bro. I just slept in an unlocked car across the street while I was waiting for you to come home. He goes, dude, you crazy? I said, bro, I'm from Detroit.
That's the way it rolls.
He goes, fuck, God sure broke the mold with you, man. You got to do what you got to do.
Listen, I never did no shit like that.
Well, I'm sure you've slept in even worse conditions.
Oh yeah. But not in somebody else's car.
No. Anybody else out there slept in somebody else's car? Maybe got caught? Send us your stories.
Yeah.
When it came to living in Woody's house, needless to say, he was a ginormous douchebag with an anger problem. He would do construction jobs with another roommate of mine named Will. This will be important later. After a week and a half of catching Woody starting shouting matches that would wake up everybody and yell at me and my roommates for no reason, I said, fuck this shit, I'm out. I broke some beer bottles in Woody's room, peed on his mattress, and walked out.
Wow.
It's better to be pissed off than pissed on, I guess. One by one for the next week, roommates started leaving in droves. 4 people, including Will and Dimitri. A week and a half after I left, Will called me up at about 9:30 in the morning. He told me that 3 days ago he had a huge falling out with Woody. He said they finished a construction job and payday came. He said Woody took $1,000 for the job and only gave him $80.
That's not even 10%.
That's
fucked up.
Yeah, that's a big fuck off. Right?
Oh, wow.
Will was understandably incensed. He didn't get his money. He crashed at a friend's house that night. The very next day, he tried to go to Woody's house to get the money, hoping that, he would come to his senses and split the money. Woody proceeded to threaten Will and whip a box cutter out of his hoodie.
Oh, here we go.
Nice. Real nice guy, this Woody guy. Now the part you've been waiting for. Revenge.
Yes. I'd fuck that dude up bad.
Oh, you're very much a revenge guy. That's why I knew you'd like this.
Yes, I love revenge stories.
Will told me a genius plan to get revenge on Woody. Woody had 6 weed plants growing in his backyard.
Okay.
Now, under Colorado law, you can have up to 6 weed plants growing on your property with no license. But Woody had 2 felonies on his record.
Oh, no.
And I'm sure none of them had to do with the inordinate temper where you go from, hey, can you pay me what you owe me, to whipping out a fucking box cutter in no time flat. I'm sure that had nothing to do with it. I mean, he probably is just a misunderstood individual. Probably identifies as non-binary.
Oh, that's funny right there.
Therefore, he was not allowed to have any weed plants growing. So therefore, Will's idea was to steal 5 of those weed plants and leave 1 sitting in the ground, because if he calls the cops on us, he calls the cops on himself, since he's not allowed to grow them.
All right, yeah.
We got a machete from Walmart to chop the plants. Before we ran into the backyard, we had to lure Woody out.
Okay.
Yeah, you could
Diversion.
could always lure him out with weed. Will called him and told him about a business proposition and to meet him at IHOP. We were just chilling in the alley awaiting confirmation that he was out of the house. As soon as we knew he was gone, we went in for the kill.
Nice.
We were happily greeted by his guard dog, a pit bull bulldog mix that didn't even bark once.
Yeah.
It's got to be that bulldog portion in there, because bulldogs, they just look like squished old man faces, Well,
if it's a pit bull,
yeah.
they're a little leaner.
Well, yeah, they're a little meaner, but that bulldog mix is just, the bulldogs don't give a damn. They just want to lay down.
Yep.
They're very chill dogs.
Yes, that is correct. Well, mainly they can't breathe. They can't really do shit.
Yeah, I know. They're little snore factories.
They can't even really bite. The actual English bulldogs.
Yeah.
If you want a dog that can bite, you get a pit bull or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't mix that pit bull with a bulldog and then expect it to stay spry past like 5 years old, because after that, the full bulldog kicks in and they're just like, machetes, guns in the house, no bacon, forget it.
I'm out.
What's Jeffrey Paul? He's got a big bulldog, Morty.
Yeah.
Calls him Morty, and Morty likes to get pissed off when there's not a new ride and roast posted. I get videos from him all the time talking in that creepy high voice.
And when's the next riding roast coming out, you lazy son of a bitch?
Gee, that's what happens when you shower that thing with love. I don't think I even heard that damn dog bark one time in the week and a half hours living at Woody's house. I guess that's what happens when you shower that dog with love. I don't think I heard that dog bark one time in the week and a half I lived at Woody's house. We were in and out in under a minute. We stuffed the 5 weed plants into my car, left one standing in the ground, of course, poured gasoline on it, and drove off.
You ruined it.
Is this revenge? Technically it is, but
It could be better.
it could be
You could have been a
way
lot better.
worse.
We got a cheap motel room to pick the buds off the 5 plants, and a couple hours later, Will got a text from Woody saying, "You got me." He was a dick, but at least he was a good sport about it in the end, and I was not expecting that.
Oh, all right. Well, there are other things you can do to individuals like this, such as defoliant on the front yard. Then you write an anonymous letter to the EPA saying the owner of the house was using some type of old Agent Orange to kill.
Oh,
They will be on you like white on rice. You could get them, IRS not paying taxes on the weed he's selling. I mean, you could literally just write some letters and turn that dude's life into a redneck nightmare.
yeah. I mean, as far as, dick moves, I mean, yeah, not paying somebody an equal share is definitely up there, but there's bigger dicks to fry.
Well, the thing is this. They did a job for $1,000. He only got 8%. He was supposed to get half.
Yeah,
So he took the plants and collateral.
there you go.
Seems legit.
Oh, and in Colorado, I'm sure he could sell them and definitely make up the difference.
Yes, he could.
Good call. And they're very lucky that the guy with 2 felonies on his record who whipped out a box cutter at a moment's notice during a simple disagreement where he was clearly in the wrong didn't go apeshit.
Man's got a point.
It seems like the guy needs some anger management classes.
A little bit. I'm sure that the initial reaction when he saw the one weed plant covered in gasoline was probably much more fueled. And then he realized, well, shit, can't call the cops because then I'm going to be ratting on myself. I did just fuck this guy out of like $420. Whatever, say la vie.
Yeah. Well, you got to take it on the chin, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I mean, that's happened to me quite a few times. You're like,
Yeah. And you know what? This could go for managers, bosses, etc. If you lay down and take it,
It just gets worse.
you can't lay down and take it. And if you're in a position where, hey, they're just threatening to get violent with you, then a little passive aggression may be just what the doctor ordered. And it definitely worked out in this case.
Yes, it does.
You guys got any bosses out there, former bosses, coworkers, managers, colleagues, anybody that needed some good old-fashioned passive-aggressive or maybe even overtly aggressive revenge? Let us know about it. Pop's a revenge guy. He loves these stories.
Listen,
That's
I
why the
love
no fat
revenge
flap.
stories. I love revenge movies. Like Conan, the original one.
Oh, yeah.
That is my favorite revenge movie. And then there's Death Wish 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the third one? Did it get too over the top for you?
But, I mean, it's the same plot.
And it is really the same thing over and over again. They just ratchet it up another.
Yeah. I mean, you can only watch the same plot so many times.
But I will say this. If you guys haven't watched Razor Fist's retrospective on the entire Death Wish series, you're missing out. It's comedy gold. Check it out.
That's some good shit right there.
And make sure you send us those stories, dudes. We love reading them, and I hope you guys enjoy hearing them.
Yep.
Good. And if you feel like donating to the channel, link tree's in the description, bitches. Because we appreciate every dollar, and of course, we're not worthy.
Nope.
We'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Ah!